Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Cosmo Build-A-Figure Wave. Here we have Nebula. This is the third, technically, Nebula figure that Hasbro has released in the Marvel Legends line, all the movie figures. We had the one from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which kind of doubled up for a Volume 1 version, as she did have like the swappable arm piece, so you can have it with her regular arm, so that could work for the first movie. So we have that. Oh, we have the Heist Nebula figure. I didn't bother getting that one out because it was super forgettable and one of the worst figures released, especially with the What If. It's definitely the worst What If figure release, completely pointless in my opinion. So I guess this is the fourth Nebula figure. But anyway, we have this one here, and then we did have the Quantum Suit version that came out for Avengers Endgame. And you can see she has like the robotic pieces for her eyes and stuff. That is something that is slightly changed up for this Nebula figure. I will do a head swap. This head's going to be definitely small. Even then, it was small on this body. It's all kind of funky. But these heads look to be about similar size, so I might do a little bit of a swap there, because I know people keep asking for swaps like crazy. One thing that I will do is I will see if a Gamora head sculpt will fit on this body or Mantis's body, to see if that's something that could work out there. I don't know if in the movie she will wear one of these suits or not. We'll have to wait for the movie to come out. But anyway, here is Nebula. Looking at the package, we get the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 movie logo, Guardians of the Galaxy logo up there at the top, Build-A-Figure Cosmo. Here you can see all the pieces and all the figures to build Cosmo. We are halfway-ish through. We're looking at Nebula. So first was Star-Lord, then Drax, then Mantis, and now Nebula. And then next up will be Rocket. Then we move on to Adam Warlock and Kraglin. You could see that Nebula comes with the number 3 piece, which is the back left leg for Cosmo. Looking at the back of the package, we could see the different accessories and things like that she comes with. And she at least comes with accessories, something that Mantis did not come with, which kind of sucks. So we get this gun here. I'd have to double check. I'm pretty sure that this is something that's already released. Probably came with Nebula or Gamora. Or I could be just completely wrong in talking out of my ass. I don't know. I have to go back and double check. One thing that I definitely don't like, though, is this is super light gray. Like, why is it super light gray? The same with this blaster. Now, this blaster is not new. We've seen this before. Nebula has come with it. The previous Nebula figure has come with it, so this isn't anything new. But again, super light gray. But what I will say, because I've complained about this many a time. If we can focus in. Many a time I've complained about this, where we have the super cheap plastic. It almost looks like semi-translucent. It's supposed to have like a metallic look to it, and ends up looking really cheap and looks like shit. I hate that. The good thing is these don't have that. But at the same time, it looks like some prototype 3D printed type stuff, because it's just light plastic, no coloring, no paint whatsoever. Like, throw a little bit of a wash in there, and it probably would have made a huge difference on these weapons. But at least we get accessories, unlike Mantis that didn't get anything. And then the last accessory to come with Nebula, as you can see, she's got a new left arm, which looks like it can kind of morph into different pieces and things like that. So you pop out the hand, and you can actually put on this like energy sword piece, and you can kind of see how it came out looking. Like, if you look at the box, it looks a lot more detailed. So as you know, it's molded, it loses some of the sculpting detail kind of into there as it like comes from her hand, kind of thing. But we get this bright orange, like thick looking paint to kind of show the glow of it. And I don't think they intended it to look like this. It doesn't look very good. So that's kind of a bummer. I don't know if it's just the paint that they applied, or if it's just too bright, or what it is. It just looks a little funky. It doesn't look like an energy blade type of deal. They tried, but I don't think they did too great of a job there with it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get in for a closer look at Nebula. And just before we get in for the closer look, shout out and thank you to ToySnowman.com. They are the sponsors of this video. I got my Guardians of the Galaxy Wave from them. They're currently out of stock, but they did have some Star-Lord in stock last I checked. So you can pre-order the individual figures, and they should be arriving soon. to them. But toysnowman.com, Canadian-based retailer. Link in the video description below. It's my referral link, which will actually give you a 5% off coupon code when you sign up for first-time buyers in your Frost Rewards. So you get that 5% off coupon code. So check it out. Link in the video description below, toysnowman.com. Okay, so here's an up-close look at Nebula, and I think the head sculpt looks pretty good, but it is a little jarring to kind of look at Nebula without that, like, robotic piece around her eye. Like, she still has it on the side of her head, as you can see there, but they removed it from around her eye, and it just kind of throws it off, in my opinion. This previous head sculpt was really, really good, and I actually think it is better. We do get kind of the digital face print on our eyes. I guess, you know, it's a little bit different. You don't see like big black pupils on there. And I don't know if, you know, if you watch the trailer, there talks, you know, Peter Quill talks about her eyes. It's just kind of odd. Now, another thing is looking at the detail. So look at the line work in the sculpt. Look how detailed. You could clearly see those lines. Here on this new one, they're very soft and kind of faded and almost not there, as if the mold of the plastic just didn't quite come out as good as it should have, or was probably supposed to, because look how clear those lines are on the old one and just how soft and faded the lines are on this new one. They just did not really come out all that great. The purple was a very matte finish on the endgame version. We don't get that matte finish as much on this new one, but the silver paint that's on there, that's applied nicely. And then look at the details of the robotic portion. It's not as detailed as the previous one. So unfortunately, it's not as good in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now and get this out of the way. I know folks are going to want a head swap of the Nebula figure. And I'm going to go ahead and swap it out. I don't typically do a whole lot of head swaps. You know, a lot of times they don't make sense. Like, why would we want to go backwards on a Nebula figure? But anyway, here it is. It pops on there. It works. And that actually looks pretty good. That, if anything, actually looks better. The blue of the skin tones are a close enough match. That's not so much an issue. But yeah, I actually really like this head sculpt a lot more than this one. Not that this one's terrible. I just think this one is a better one. So anyway, back to the Nebula figure. If you guys watch my review of Mantis, this is the same exact figure. I have Mantis right here. The difference is going to be the hands, of course, but they do both have the gloved hands. So if you wanted to swap, you know, get new hands for Nebula or Mantis, that's something you could do if you wanted to just paint the blue into the lighter skin tone of Mantis. They're the same, but the bodies themselves are the exact same. There is no difference whatsoever. Completely the same. Same legs, same boots, same feet, same everything. The belt is the exact same. The figures are the same. The only difference is, of course, Nebula has a different left arm, and of course they have different head sculpts. The necks are like separate pieces. They don't actually swivel though, so no swivel on that neck, and of course those necks are the same, but they're just different colors, of course. So that is Nebula. Here is her arm. It's going to be interesting to see. You could see it's kind of like a fleshy, like robotic look to it. But the sculpt and mold of it is, again, a really, really soft, whereas I think the details of it should have been a little bit more present there. But I think as the mold, it just didn't come out as good, because even when you look at like the back of the box, it looks a lot more detailed, right? And looking at the front of the box with that blade hand, you could see, you know, how it was supposed to look, and it just the mold of it just didn't come out as good, unfortunately. So that really sucks. Not that it's, you know, terrible, but when you see the difference, it hurts. It kind of sucks. But anyway, here's the blade hand. I'm going to pop this one out because I'm going to put the regular trigger finger hand back on it. And this is tough. It's on there very, very secure and tight. So finally got it pulled off. And then here we have her hand. So she does come with the trigger finger hand for her left. And as you can see there, that looks pretty good. No issues there. So she can hold her blaster that she comes with in that gray plastic, as you can see there. And that works out really well. You know, we got Nebula shooting Nebula kind of thing, if that's what you want to do. And then she has this gun. And I still haven't looked it up. I'm going to look it up now before we get to the articulation to kind of figure out exactly where that came from. But yeah, there's the Nebula figure, and I think it looks pretty good. You guys let me know down in the comments below what do you think, and which head sculpt did you like more? Again, I think the Endgame one was a lot better. Okay, so let's take a look at Nebula's articulation. I did look it up. This did come with the Gamora figure from Volume 2. It is the same. Of course, it is just a different color. This is an extremely light gray plastic. So this figure came with the same gun. Again, just slightly different color. But anyway, let's get on into the Nebula articulation. Same exact articulation as Mantis if you had watched my previous video on that. But anyway, Nebula, can you look down that much? That is pretty good. She can look all the way up. That is pretty good. The head is on a disc hinge. So that works out really well. You get full rotation in there. Not a whole lot of neck pivot going on in there, unfortunately. So the two arms that she has, she can go straight out with it. The other arm actually goes a little bit higher, and that's kind of the design of actually the shoulder, because this shoulder pad actually sticks out a little bit more on the left, so that would kind of hinder that a little bit. You can do the full rotation in both arms. Both have upper bicep swivels, and both have double jointed pinless elbows. So here we go on the elbow. We get that much bend at the elbow, which is nice. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge. Standard horizontal hinge on the trigger finger on the left. Standard horizontal on the open relaxed hand on the right. The diaphragm cut on Nebula, she can pivot to her left that much. She can pivot to her right that much, so that's actually not too shabby. Going back is a little bit. Coming forward, though, is not a whole lot. That's actually more than some female figures, sadly, but that's where we are at with it. Swivel at the diaphragm cut. There is no waist swivel. Her legs go out that far apart. She can kick forward. Not very far, just like Mantis, unfortunately. Leg doesn't really go back. You have an upper thigh cut in there. You get a double jointed knee that is pinless, so that looks pretty good there. You do get a boot swivel in there. Foot hinges down all the way. You get some hinge up, ankle pivot, pickles at the bottom of the feet. These wedges aren't too bad, where you don't really have any issues getting her to stand. Some of the older figures are definitely more of an issue, but there we go with Nebula. Before I forget, I did pop the Gamora figure onto the Mantis figure, the Gamora head onto the Mantis figure. It works, but the head is a little undersized for this really tall body, unfortunately. So it works. I think it looks a little funky because the legs are probably just too long in general for this figure. And then obviously, of course, skin tone is not going to match. But again, is she even going to wear this suit in the movie? We don't even know. Are they going to release a Gamora figure? God, I would hope so. It could be one that they release later on down the line. Maybe they don't want to spoil the movie if she does wear one of these suits. It would be extremely easy for Hasbro to re-release this figure for a third time with a Gamora head. I hope that isn't really going to be the case. But at the same time, if she does wear the suit in the movie, yep, I'm going to want a figure, and that's the way they're going to do it. I'll take it. But, you know, unique figures would definitely be the better way to go. But if this is something that you wanted to do, it works. Okay, and as a special treat for a lot of you guys have been requesting this. Does the Peter Quill Star-Lord head sculpt, the new one, fit on the Thor Love and Thunder body? And yep, it sure as hell does. It kind of works. The jacket and everything seems a little puffy, so the head is definitely a little bit smaller size-wise. So like the scale, it just looks a little bit off and undersized in my opinion. The head sculpt is just too damn good though. So to where this actually looks really good, and I can really get behind it. So if you're looking for a more classic looking Star-Lord instead of the blue and red suit and outfit, if you have the Thor Love and Thunder Star-Lord, there you go. This is an option, and I think it actually is a really good option and works out really, really well. So that's the treat for you guys that have stuck around with my videos and were watching all of them. So there you go. Okay, and there are our Guardians of the Galaxy all looking great together. This is what it's all about. I know people weren't happy with the figures when they were first announced. You know, a lot of people were happy, some people weren't, because they don't really want these suits for them. You know, they want the kind of more classic looks. This is a matching team outfit, uniform, and you know what? It looks pretty damn good in my opinion. I think it's, you know, weird that Mantis is so tall because it kind of fits more, you know, for Nebula. With the legs being super long, but you know, it works. The team looks good together. Once I get Rocket out of the package, I think he's gonna really add to the look when we have them all together and really complete it. So I'm very happy. You guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this Nebula figure? What do you think of this team of the Guardians of the Galaxy from Volume 3? Are you excited for the movie? I'm pretty hyped about it. I'm very excited. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was a bit of a disappointment for me, so I'm really hoping that Volume 3 really comes back around and brings some of that magic that the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie had. So I'm really excited there. The Nebula figure, while not perfect or anything, it is still a really good figure. I know a lot of people missed out on the previous Nebula figure. And then, you know, having new ones in hand and looking at this thing, it's just not as good. The scaling is really off. It's really undersized. The legs are still super long, which I think fits Karen Gillan. Is that her last name? Fits the actress, but, you know, this head sculpt was small. It's just kind of, the figure itself looks kind of funky having it now. So I'm happy to get the new Nebula. But you guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that join button, become a channel member, and be a part of the MCU collective. And as always, thank you for watching.